Great virtue of wisdom of Nagarjuna. Mahaprajnaparamita Sastra. Etienne Lamotte. Composed by the Bodhisattva Nagarjuna and translated by the Tripitaka Dharma Karaya Kumarajiva of the land of Kucha. Under the later sin. Translated from the French. By Galongma Karma Migmi Chodron 2001. Chapter 20. Second Series. Setting out on the Mahāyāna. Sutra. Then the Blessed One said to Venerable Subhuti, "You also asked me, O Subhuti, how the bodhisattva-mahasattva sets out on the Mahāyāna. Well then, Subhuti, the bodhisattva-mahasattva who, going along with the six perfections, passes from ground to ground is said to have set out on the Mahāyāna." Then the Venerable Subhuti said to the Blessed One, "How, O Blessed One, does the bodhisattva-mahasattva pass from ground to ground?" The Blessed One answered, "The bodhisattva-mahasattva knows the non-passing of all the dharmas. Indeed, there is no dharma that comes or that goes, that passes by or that approaches. However, the bodhisattva-mahasattva does not think, does not reflect about the level of the dharmas, and yet he practices the preparations for the grounds but does not see the grounds." Sastra. Above, Subhuti had questioned the Buddha about the Mahāyāna, and the Buddha had answered by explaining the many characteristics of the Mahāyāna to him. Also above, Subhuti had asked a question about starting out for the Mahāyāna, and here also the Buddha answered about the characteristics of this setting out. The bodhisattva-mahasattva going in this vehicle knows that from the beginning all dharmas are without coming, without going, unmoving and without setting forth, because the fundamental element is eternally stable. Furthermore, by minds of great compassion, by the perfection of exertion and by the power of skillful means, the bodhisattva returns to practice the good dharmas and, still seeking the higher grounds, he does not grasp the characteristics of these grounds and does not see these grounds. Question. But in order to answer Subhuti's question precisely, the Buddha should have spoken here about the greater vehicle. Why then does he speak about setting out for the grounds? Answer. The greater vehicle is the grounds. Thus, to speak about the grounds is to speak about the greater vehicle. The grounds are 10 in number. To go from the first to the 10th is to start out. Thus a man riding on a horse who wants to ride on an elephant, abandons the horse and gets up on the elephant. And to ride on a dragon, he abandons the elephant and mounts the dragon. Question. What are the 10 grounds? Answer. There are 2 kinds of grounds. 1. The grounds belonging to the bodhisattva alone. 2. The shared grounds. The shared grounds go from the ground of dry seeing to the ground of the Buddhas. The grounds belonging to the bodhisattva alone are 1. The joyous ground. 2. The stainless ground. 3. The shining ground. 4. The ground of fiery wisdom. 5. The ground difficult to conquer. 6. The ground of presence. 7. The far gone ground. 8. The unshakable ground. 9. The ground of good wisdom. 10. The ground of the cloud of the Dharma. For the characteristics of these grounds, see the full explanation in the Che-Ti King. Bhumi I. 1. Sutra. What is the preparation of the grounds in the bodhisattva-mahasattva? The bodhisattva-mahasattva who is in the first ground should fulfill 10 preparations. 1. The strength of his high aspiration by means of the method of non-apprehending. Then the Venerable Subhuti said to the Bhagavat, "For the bodhisattva-mahasattva, what, O Bhagavat, is this preparation consisting of a high aspiration?" The Bhagavat answered, by means of resolutions associated with omniscience, the bodhisattva-mahasattva accumulates the roots of good. Sastra. In order to enter into the first ground, the bodhisattva must accomplish 10 things, from high aspiration up to true speech. Subhuti knows this very well, but in order to cut the doubts of beings on this subject, he questions the Bhagavat and asks him, "What is this high aspiration?" The Buddha answers, "It is to accumulate the roots of good by means of resolutions associated with omniscience." In regard to the resolutions associated with omniscience, we may note, when the bodhisattva-mahasattva produces the mind of supreme complete enlightenment for the first time, he makes the following vow: "May I become Buddha in a future lifetime." Thus this mind of supreme complete enlightenment constitutes a resolution associated with omniscience. Associated, insofar as it joins the mind to the wish to become Buddha. For the bodhisattva of keen faculties who has accumulated merits greatly, the passions are slight and the past wrongdoings are less numerous. When he produces the mind of body, he forms the high aspiration which takes pleasure in abhisambodhi and, from lifetime to lifetime, the concerns about worldly things decrease. This is what is here called resolutions associated with omniscience. In all the virtues that he practices, generosity, morality, concentration, etc., the bodhisattva does not seek either the happiness of this world or that of the other world, or longevity or safety. He seeks only omniscience. Just as a miser refuses for any reason to give even a single coin, saves them and piles them up with the sole desire of becoming rich, so the bodhisattva, whether his merits are many or not, seeks nothing other than to save them and pile them up with the view of omniscience. Question. But if the bodhisattva does not yet have omniscience and has not yet tasted its flavor, how can he form the high aspiration? Answer. I said above that it is a question of someone of keen faculties, of slight passions, of pure qualities, who is not fond of the world. Without even having heard the MAHԱYΑNA praised, he hates the world. What then if he has heard it praised? Thus, MAHÀYΑNA had taken as wife a woman golden in color, but as he did not love her, he abandoned her and entered into the religious life. Also seeing in the middle of the night that his courtesans were like corpses. Yi Cho Chang Choti Seu left his precious sandals worth 100,000 kasaponas on the bank of the river, crossed over the river and went straight to the Buddha. The noblemen and kings who, out of disgust, thus renounced the 5 objects of enjoyment are innumerable. Why then does the bodhisattva, who has heard speak of the many qualities of the body of the Buddhas, not at once make the resolution to penetrate it deeply? Thus, in the chapter Sa To Po Luan which will follow, the daughter of a nobleman, having heard the praises of the Buddha, immediately left her home and went to Tian Wouk. Moreover, as his 5 spiritual faculties, faith, etc., are complete and ripe, the bodhisattva is able to acquire the high aspiration. A small child whose 5 organs, eye, etc., are not complete, does not discern the 5 objects and does not distinguish what is beautiful and what is ugly. It is the same when the 5 spiritual faculties, faith, etc., are not complete. One does not distinguish between the good and the bad. One does not know the difference between what is bondage and what is deliverance. One loves the 5 objects of enjoyment and one falls into wrong views. But the person whose 5 spiritual faculties, faith, etc., are complete is able to distinguish good from bad. If already he takes pleasure in the Sravaka system advocating the 10 good paths of action, why would he not think more deeply yet of Supreme Body? As soon as he first produces the mind of supreme body, he has already gone beyond the world. He goes even further when he has perfected this mind of supreme body.